1 year ago, we walked away from the life that we'd known for decades. We didn't have a perfect plan, and we didn't have $1 million. And we weren't even sure, honestly, if our plan was going to work, but we were tired of waiting for the perfect time, so we finally just started living.
Yeah.
So we left anyway.
We just hit the road. So if you've been following our journey, and you know we retired early with around $400,000 invested, and a lot of people tell us that is not enough. And honestly, there were some days we wondered, well, us too. But over the last year, we've traveled Southeast Asia, lived in hotels and Airbnbs, used hotel points and travel points, and a big $10 word here, Geoarbitrage, to stretch our money. And today we wanted to share with you what really happened at our 1 year anniversary of retirement.
Yeah. So some of the things that we know that people are worried about with retirement, there's all these fears, right? There's the fear of running out of money. That's probably the biggest fear for everyone in retirement. Whether you're thinking about it or you're actually in retirement, it's a big fear to run out of money. There's a fear of, making a mistake. Did I retire too soon? Did I retire too late? Did I miss out on some investments or some opportunities? There's the fear of leaving family. We get a lot of questions about, hey, don't you guys have any kids? Why do you want to leave your kids and your grandkids and your siblings and friends? And, there's that kind of fear too. There's always the fear that the market is going to drop because most of our money is in the stock market. And then there's the fear a lot of people have about retiring means that I don't have a purpose anymore. My job is my everything, my job is what makes me me, and if I quit that job, what am I? So we want to talk about those kind of things too, because there's always going to be fears in life, and your mind is naturally kind of fear driven, and so you just have to turn that around. Like,
flip the script.
There's so many things you can be afraid of that are never ever going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So why should you waste your time and energy and emotional real estate on things that are never going to happen?
Yeah.
Like when you're a kid, did you worry about things? Yeah. Have they happened? Probably not. Last week, did you worry about something? Did it happen? There's things that you're always going to be worried about, and things that are going to pop into your head that are like, oh, but what if this happens? Okay, what if it doesn't?
Yeah. The only thing you control is how you react to it.
Yeah.
Rain falls on everybody, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, doesn't matter. So it's really about your own mindset.
Yeah, and a lot of times the things that do happen to us are things that maybe aren't even on our radar, like something out of the blue that you didn't think would ever happen to you happens to you, so how can you even plan for it? So you just do your best, and don't let fear drive your entire life. It's okay to have a little bit of fear in the background, but don't let it control you. Notice it, accept it, acknowledge it. Yeah, maybe that could happen. That could happen, but it could not happen too. So plan for things that you think are a good possibility that could happen, but then just move forward. So the hardest part for us wasn't really about the money part of it. It was about trusting ourselves enough to just begin, to just start the retirement journey that we started 1 year ago, May of 2025. We started our official retirement journey, and we moved to Southeast Asia and started living our Geoarbitrage life.
And we're still here. So, I would say that one of the things that surprised us most was how quickly after work, a life of work, that our priorities changed. We stopped caring about bigger houses and more stuff and started, really, which was always in the background, valuing freedom, time. What's the one thing we can't get any more of? Time.
Yeah.
Now we have more time. Experiences and simpler days together that are our day, not usually controlled by outside forces like a job.
Right.
And the job we do is what we choose to do.
Yeah.
You know, there's a slower pace, but that pace is your pace now. You want to be busy, which we have days where we're so busy that it's dawn to dusk doing stuff, right? But now it's you that gets to decide that, or you as a couple, or you and your family.
Yeah, I really like that, making it your pace, because we talk to a lot of people who are afraid to retire because they don't know what their day is going to look like. They don't want to just spend all of their time in the recliner or on the couch or taking naps or watching TV. They want a purpose. They want something to do. And that's where it's perfect. You design it the way you want to. There's plenty of volunteer opportunities. There's plenty of travel opportunities. There's so many things that you can do in retirement. It doesn't have to be just sitting around, not doing anything.
Right. And that's so right, because you enjoy things that are just a moment that you don't have to hurry through anymore, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to hurry through lunch to get back to work. I'm going to call it like it is. If you've been in your career long enough, you're probably in some kind of manager or supervisory experience or role, and let's call it like it is. No more babysitting, right? I mean, the workplace today, and maybe it's been that way for other generations that have aged through their career, and you get to the point where, like, really, just do your job.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't a warm and fuzzy place.
Well, and it's not just that. We hear all the time about people that got laid off, downsized. You give your time and energy to this job and all of your skills and your knowledge, and the first time they need to cut expenses, you're out of there.
Because if they can get somebody to do your job for half the money, they will.
Someone or AI.
And that's just business or AI. And that's just business at the same time. Let's face that reality. You may have been one of the people that replaced somebody 30 years ago in your career, right? So
True.
It's
just the way it
at
goes.
the end of the day, what encompasses it is that whole work pressure. And if you don't have that, good for you. But that whole performance pressure, work pressure that we experience these days, and have for a long time, really. But today, I think is even worse than it has been in the past, because there's so many ways that they can monitor what you're doing and the performance levels you're supposed to hit.
So the main thing that you're going to experience with retirement is lower stress, for sure. And you're going to just enjoy the simple things. Like if you enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning, you can take your time and sit and actually enjoy it, or find little coffee spots that you like, or, sit and read a paper or look on your tablet for the news and enjoy that time instead of just grab my coffee and on my way to work and go.
I got to get up, I got to shave, I got to fix my hair, I got to put on my work clothes. You don't want to shower? Don't shower.
Well, we don't do that kind of stuff.
Not really, but
we do enjoy the affordability of, like we said, Geoarbitrage just means taking the money that you earn in the U.S. and spending it in a country where your dollar stretches farther. So Southeast Asia is perfect for that. We love traveling. We love experiencing new things. We love the culture in Southeast Asia. The people are so kind. So all of that stuff, Geoarbitrage completely changed the equation for us, because we can live a luxury lifestyle in places like Southeast Asia for very little.
And there are other parts of the world too, and even in the continent that you might, if you're in North America, there's other parts of North America as well.
Yeah, if you don't want to travel to Southeast Asia like we do, we love it. There's ways that we've shown in our videos for how to live inexpensively in the U.S. We use things like trusted house sitters, which we have a link in the description. If you want to sign up for that, you can save money using our link. That gives you free housing, completely free housing, free electrical, free utilities, free internet. So you don't pay anything for your home or any of those extra things. All you need is your car and some gas and groceries and whatever entertainment you want to do. So that's a great way to live super cheap in the U.S. We also do the Geoarbitrage, like we said, and we go to Southeast Asia and we stay in hotels, and we use the point system. So we have an IHG branded credit card that we can stay from anywhere from free to maybe $1,500 a month is our most expensive time in a hotel in Southeast Asia. We also have the Marriott card that we're trying out this year for the first time. So we have links for both of those cards. that will get you free nights if you click on our link and get your card. It's things like lower food costs. We can eat in Southeast Asia.
Cheaper.
The both of us can eat for $4 or $5 a meal with plenty of food. We're not skimping. We're not sharing a meal. That's plenty of food. The transportation is so cheap.
For both of us.
Hotels, like we said. The healthcare over there, this year we're going to do some healthcare screenings because when we were in the U.S. this year, we went to our primary care doctors and they ordered lab tests and things, and we're like, we're going to do them in Southeast Asia because it's way cheaper and we can get more extensive. Like in the you guys know I'm a nurse, so in the U.S. you can get your yearly mammogram, but that's it. You don't get an ultrasound unless you have some kind of diagnostic, you have a symptom. So in Southeast Asia, you get the mammogram and the ultrasound, and it's still cheaper than what you would. Well, in the U.S., you would probably get it for free because if there's no symptoms, you're going to get your yearly maintenance stuff for free. But if you have to pay for an ultrasound, it's going to be at least a couple $100 outside of what your insurance will pay. So if you go to Asia, they give you better stuff. You get the mammogram and the ultrasound. It's part of their plan. We can get a stress test with no symptoms. It's just part of their maintenance screening, all the lab work, that kind of stuff. You have to jump through hoops with your insurance in the U.S. So the flexibility is amazing with our lifestyle in retirement. But I think what you really want to know in this video is we're 1 year from our retirement date, and how do things look? Everybody's worried about finances, so let's talk about how our investment accounts look 1 year after we retired. So when I was working, Tyke had already retired. You were doing the match. I was doing the match at work. I was taking 6% out of my paycheck before taxes, and my employer was matching that. So I had a good chunk of money going into our investment accounts every 2 weeks when I got a paycheck. That stopped a year ago. And our income ended a year ago. We have only been monetized on YouTube for a couple of months, so we went 8 or 9 months without any extra income. So our investment account when we started a year ago was around $400,000. It was just a little bit over $400,000. Guess what our investment accounts are at now with very little put in there to help. This is all market growth. They're over $525,000 in our investment accounts. And we know, this is awesome. We're not saying this is not awesome. We are so happy to see that our plan is working after a year. We're in better shape than we were a year ago. We've lived a beautiful life this past year. We have all these amazing things, experiences that we've had, and we've spent some time in the U.S. and visited family and friends and helped out. So we've done it all, and we know that the market helped with this, right? Our money is in the stock market, and the market's been good. So that helped. And we know that every year is not going to be as good. The market goes up and down.
On the longer arc of things, the market always makes money.
Yes.
So that's something that was a key thing that we learned a while back, that the market, regardless of what's happening in the economy, no matter how much gas is at the pump, no matter how much money you're spending on food, entertainment costs, etc., the market always wins.
Yeah, but what this really taught us is that retirement isn't about the size of your portfolio.
Right.
It's not about how much money you have in the bank. It's about designing a lifestyle that the money you do have can support. And for us, we didn't want to tap into all of our investments so quickly because we have goals that we want to get to. Obviously, everybody wants to have $1 million. We want to be a millionaire. So we want our money to grow. So we had to create a lifestyle that we could live on as little as possible, which is why we chose Geoarbitrage in Southeast Asia. So the flexibility matters way more than being perfect.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as perfect. You can have your goals and try to get there.
Right.
And the experiences matter more than possessions.
Yeah. Because you know what happens with possessions? If you sell them off like we did, you can get them back.
Yes.
And in this day and age, where there's more exposure to find things, you can often replace them for less money.
Cheaper.
Better things for less money. I like that deal.
Yeah. And we, you know, when we were younger, we wanted everything new. We wanted our own stuff. We didn't want hand-me-downs. We didn't want all this stuff. And now we're like, we'll take that barely used lawnmower or whatever the case is, you know. Yeah. We don't care. It's going to be used the minute you use it anyway. So we understand that health and time really matter.
That's super important.
And we know that you don't need millions. We didn't need millions. We just started living our retirement life. And that's what it's all about. Just do it a little bit differently. Instead of keeping up with the neighbors and the Joneses, we're doing it how we want. We're designing our life.
Yeah, because, you know, it's like Tina just said, you don't need millions to start living differently. I mean, you go to Southeast Asia, and I can promise you there's not a lot of millionaires walking around, but they're happy, and their cost of living is lower.
Yeah.
And that's not just exclusive to Southeast Asia. That's all over the world. There's areas you can go to like that. And I think a lot of people are like-minded. You know, you get tired of that rat race and the pressure it brings. And until you excuse yourself from that, you don't realize how that fear kept you stuck. It keeps people stuck, that fear.
It does. So we're not saying that this path is the right path for everyone. And we've done it a lot of different ways this past year. So maybe one of those ways will give you an idea to spark something that you can design your own path. But we want to be here to encourage
and help
you. So give us a question, give us a comment. But for us, choosing freedom earlier, I was only 55 when I retired. I wish I would have retired sooner. But choosing freedom earlier gave us something that money never could. It gave us more time together, more mornings together, more experiences together, more life.
Yeah.
And you know what? A year later, we have only one regret.
We wish we'd have done it sooner.
Yeah, we really do. So if you've ever dreamed about retiring differently or living abroad, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.